Do you reckon though, Morg? Do you reckon though is so? You mentioned that you like being around successful people, people that are doing things at a good level. Is is are people that are reality TV stars, Geordie Shore, for instance, or X on the Beach, are they successful? Would you say they are successful? I suppose obviously success is subjective, right? It depends on what your definition is, but
Yeah.
what would you say to that?
Obviously Ashley Kane's a different breed, and he's obviously, I wouldn't class him as a reality TV star anymore. He's like much bigger than that now, much more important than that. I would say the reality TV stars, Gaz and Charlotte, they had immense work ethic, which was really inspiring. They were very, very plugged in all the time, thinking about their brand, thinking about how they could make money moves outside of the program. They were very, very kind of smart, business savvy people amongst all the kind of banter and jokes and kind of craziness that they would put on TV. So don't be fooled by that. They were smart business people. So yeah, that's something that people don't realize. That a lot of these people who you class as kind of television clowns and are smart people, and you're the clown for watching them because they're making all the money off you.
Absolutely, yeah. This is what I say. This is what I say. Like, I mean, I've got nothing against people, going on TV shows. I actually know quite a few people in London who have done it. A girl that I know, she's a model, and she was on Shipwrecked a few years ago when he relaunched.
Yeah.
You remember that TV show Shipwrecked?
Yeah. That bear was on it.
Imagine now that is a TV show I'd love to go on. I'd love to go on Shipwrecked.
Yeah. That's. I don't know. I'm not.
He was
with the tools, mate. I'll be kicked off that island faster than you could say. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a show. It's a show that's worth watching, I think. But anyway, but it's like, I've got nothing against that in a sense. In fact, I've got nothing against it at all. I just find it hilarious how people idolize these people and they think that they care about them. They don't. They're there to make money. They're doing it to make money. Not doing it to entertain you. Like, they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, I mean, they speak to the unconscious person, don't they? So the person who
Exactly
asleep, who likes to go out every weekend and get steaming and have loads of banter and jokes and laugh and literally ignorance is bliss kind of philosophy on life. They watching MTV and those reality TV shows helps them carry on what they're doing and makes them feel okay about it. It's like when people watch Jeremy Kyle every morning. Do you know what I mean? So these are the drags of society. God bless them and that. And people literally just used to watch them because even though their life probably weren't where they wanted to be, they'd be like, do you know what? It's a damn sight better than theirs, so I'm doing okay. And it's like you measure.
Yeah, it makes them feel a little bit more better inside about their own decisions, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're comparing yourself to like bottom of the league flipping football teams. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you're meant to be Man United, mate. You're not meant to be like Doncaster Rovers, like. And so it's like, yeah, it was. Human beings are it's a very strange personality trait that people have, which obviously like kind of wants to seek out people of a lower status than them in order to make themselves feel better. And I don't agree with it. I don't think it's positive. Do you know what I mean? I think if you really are taking that path of self-development, you want to be inspired, motivated, and you want to kind of look upwards and shoot upwards, do you know what I mean, towards your best version of you. You're not looking downwards, laughing at people. You know what I mean? That's not a good, positive person. Do you know what I mean? You appreciate that they're on their journey. They're doing what they're doing. Eventually they'll come up to the top, this life or the next. And you need to focus on becoming the best version of you. There's no time to be watching Jeremy Kyle and people being absolute idiots and getting paid money for it.
I'm interested to know. I'm curious to know what. Let's stick on X on the Beach for a little bit. I think there's a bit more that we can uncover there. I'm curious to know what life is actually like, because obviously we, as a viewer, if somebody loves watching X on the Beach or they think being a reality TV star is the way forward or whatever it is. And, we get the cut down, beautiful version of that show, don't we? We get the hour or however long it is. It's all made to look great and everything. But what is actually going on that show? What's day to day like?
It's surprisingly quite congruent with what's being put on there. Because
Oh, is it?
yeah, it actually is. It's surprising. So basically, I'll explain it to you. So we was in a big villa. All the production team are in like almost a basement underneath the house with cameras on you, every single room. You got microphones, and they are literally just watching you. They're sort of big brother. Do you know what I mean? They're just watching everything you do. They listen to all the conversations. They've got whiteboards up in their room, and they're literally like going, well, this person likes this person. This person's a bit jealous about this person. Do you know what I mean? So we'll put them all on a date. So basically, they just look at the dynamic of the house and they just set you up on dates. Do you know what I mean? And set you up in situations which are going to cause conflict. And if they need to, they'll give you some alcohol to make it even better. So, like,
Give them some drugs.
yeah, that's it, man. Just pump them full of like drink and that, and they'll cause some TV gold for you. So yeah, they play on your weaknesses, your fears, your insecurities. They also play on sexual connection. But it's not scripted. They tried to stitch me up right at the very end. They wanted me to do Rogan over with Jess. They wanted me to go on a date with her and basically like get with her in order to piss him off. And I said, I ain't doing that. He's my mate. And they literally said to me, if you don't do it, you're off the program. And I kind of sat back and said, I ain't doing it. They put me in the van for 20 minutes and think about it. I said, I ain't doing it. Like, I'm not being made to be a mug on TV. He's my mate. You can fuck off. So yeah. And and in the end, they changed the entire script of the program for it to be a bromance. And I didn't do it. I came back to the house. He said, "Did you do it?" I said, "No, I didn't." We had a big hug. We had the last episode of that series is me and him going like, buggying around like all these June tracks and that. You know what I mean? Having loads of fun. It was like, but literally, had I not said no and put my foot down, it would have been Morgan's the Judas he got with his bird, and literally I would have been like the enemy. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be very careful when you're on them programs, because if you are a bit immature and easily led, those producers will sell you down the river, and there's no coming back for that for a very long time. And I just want to say, like, that there's that guy, that muggy Mike, weren't it? And obviously, I think they did that to him, and obviously there's been reality TV stars that have taken their life, and it's because of situations like that, where they've gone, and it's kind of really who they are deep down, on a momentary lapse, and had to pay the price with the public when they get out, So you've got to be careful when you get in that game.
And this is the problem as well, is that because, the popular culture people, right? People who watch all this stuff and they love it. They think it's what you said there. Yes, there's an element of realness to it, but there is also an element of, you're used as chess pieces, aren't you? To, around the board, and people don't get that. So, you saying that there, oh, the producers are telling me to do this, right? And then, you watch an episode of whatever, and somebody does something awful, and then everyone's like, "Oh, this person, you're whatever," and oh, I can't believe he and she did this. Like, do you not realize it's set up? Like, they're not. It's not actually them.
Well, I mean, what I would say, from my experience, you have got freedom of choice. They can obviously try and leverage that choice to go into their favor, but they make you do something you don't want to do. You can just say, "I'll walk off the program." But I mean, they did almost try to blackmail me by saying they'd take me off it. So in a sense, they kind of do. But I mean, you've only got to use your common sense and be like, "Well, I've just done like 1 month of filming. You can't just edit me out of every single thing." Do you know what I mean? So jog on. So that's where the intelligence comes in. But yeah, they try to leverage your choices, definitely. But you can make a stand. To be fair, I remember that Roy card in Love Island. His girl ended up getting kicked off, and he just walked off, didn't he? I don't know if you ever watched that one.
I don't watch Love Island.
Anything like that, because all the rest of them, from as far as I know, their partner or the one they loved or liked would get kicked off the program, and they'd all just stay on there and wait to get with someone else. And I'm like, how was that work? I mean, like my missus went off the program, I'll be going off with, but like, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he was the first person I ever saw on a reality TV program, not by the bait that they were handing. And I remember thinking, that's a big move. That is what you've done there. I got a lot of time for you for doing that. So I think if you're intelligent when you're watching them reality TV programs, you can see who's biting the bait, who ain't, who's got a moral compass, who ain't. You know, so it's it's interesting TV. I mean,
So there isn't. So you are free then day to day to talk and do whatever you want to do.
yeah, I mean within the
Pretty much.
compound, you do have to sign a contract before you go on there, which my mum pointed out to me, which said, like, you know, when you sign this contract, you're basically like a slave to them for the next 2 months filming. I was like, yeah, sign it up. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to my but yeah, it was the contracts are pretty intense. I mean, they feed you nice. They want to keep your immune system up, don't they? So you can perform. They get
Yeah.
paid and all that. I mean, yeah, that was all good. To be fair, on X on the Beach, surprisingly, they didn't give you that much alcohol. I remember being very, obviously I've had my own journey of alcohol. I remember being very surprised and sad about the amount that they were giving us, because it weren't a lot. Do you know what I mean? They give you enough just to kind of get yourself kind of a bit drunk, but they weren't giving you like crates and crates of the stuff. Do you know what I mean? So you could get white boy wasted, like which is what I used to like back in the day. So yeah, there was quite strict rules with that kind of, and if people were acting too much and drinking too much, they'd pull the plug on the alcohol and they'd literally like, you'll go on a drinking ban and things like that. So I think Geordie Shore, from speaking to Gaz and Charlotte, they were allowed way more alcohol because it was a different.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Geordie Shore was obviously a lot more kind of like do what you want, whereas X on the Beach,
Yeah.
more like prestige, and everyone was kind of all glamorous and kind of like we're in Marbella. Do you know what I mean? So that people being absolutely rat-assed, like falling all over the place. It weren't really the vibe. So yeah, they were definitely stricter with the alcohol on X on the Beach.
It's I just find it so fascinating. I do. So fascinating. You know, that world is just so different, and like it's not. I would love to like just be a fly on the wall on the whole production of it all and just watch it.
Yeah,
I just think it'd be like, and if everybody had the opportunity to do that, I think it would just answer so many questions. It would change so many people's perceptions of it and make it a bit more of a enjoyable experience to watch if you're into that kind of thing. Because people take it so seriously and they love it, and it's like they idolize people like this. And I'm like, well, you know, do you not understand? It's a TV show, like it's designed this way.
even the TV show being made. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and then the cameramen are getting filmed. Do you know what I mean? Like that'd be
Yeah.
an interesting concept. To be fair though, I think they wouldn't allow it, man, because it would literally potentially destroy reality TV shows going forward, because you'd know the inner workings, and it kind of was. Whereas people are still shocked and like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Once you watch it from behind the scenes, you're like, well, this is blatantly obvious what's going on. I can spot these programs. I know exactly what's happening, what the producers are telling those people to do every single time now. Do you know what I mean? Because it happened for like 2 months straight when I was on it. So it would be an interesting watch. You're totally right. I don't think they'd ever do it though.
No, of course they wouldn't. They don't give away the secret sauce, do they? But you know, I suppose in a way you sort of revealed a little bit there, which is helpful.
Yeah.
You know, actually, one thing I'm really interested about is relationships within that world, because you know, people come out of Love Island or whatever, and they're in a relationship, right? They're in love, and then 6 months later, they've separated. Is there? I don't know if this has been talked about before in podcasts or what, but and I think people are familiar with it or they've clocked onto it. But isn't there some kind of contract to be in a relationship, right? That you sign something. Oh, we're going to be in a relationship for 6 months, and then after that, you know, it's.
I think it's more about the business savviness of the contestants on there. So they basically most of them are about themselves. They're about their own brand, and if they feel like their brand will be improved and make more money and staying in a relationship from the TV show for as long as possible, and they'll do that. It's a very ruthless business in that sense. Everyone's kind of out for themselves. You will every now and again get genuine relationships where people really do love each other. Like that is it Alex Bowen and his missus, like they're obviously still together now, I think, do you know what I mean, kids and that. So they're legitimate. But I'd say there's probably a good 60-70% that are doing it probably on the basis of I'm going to get more airtime, I'm going to make more money, my brand's going to grow. Do you know what I mean? It's a business move. And I wouldn't say that those people, maybe one of them out of the two will know it's a business move and the other one might actually like the other one. Or maybe they both know, but it's kind of unspoken. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you'd know it if you were watching from the outside, but maybe if you were in it, you probably wouldn't know. If you were on the negative end of that relationship. But yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I can imagine that being quite a thing, to be fair. Somebody not knowing, oh, I'm just using you actually because you've got a following on Instagram. That's all I'm using you for.
100%. 100%. Because that's definitely going.
Yeah. I mean, it's a smart business move. As a business guy myself, I can understand it. I get it.
Yeah, that's it. Where you can, I mean, if you with someone who's got 100, 200,000 followers or whatever, it's like, and you've got like 10, it's like, wow, if I stick it a year with them, get on all the photos with them, go travel the world with them, get my character across, I could probably poach all those followers. And if you got like 100,000 followers, realistically, unless you're an idiot, like you can make some decent money off that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's an interesting world. Very interesting world. What would you say? I mean, I'm curious to know actually. What would you say was the biggest lessons from going on that show?
For me personally, it was that the idea of fame had been completely destroyed. It was a futile dream that was not what I wanted really, and I thought I did. So that was a great lesson for me. Because like I said, until then I'd always had the itch, you know. So I'm glad that itch got scratched and it's no more. The other lesson was that people in that world are out for themselves, and it's all about business, and it's about their character and marketing themselves in the best light, and they'll step on even people to keep going up that kind of social ladder. So that's that game. Yeah, that it's a very, very strange scenario to be on television and then walk down a petrol station in Scunthorpe and people run over to you and want to take a photo with you. That's weird, man. That is weird.
So you got a taster of it then. You got a taster of like reality TV star fame, you know, and you didn't like it. It wasn't what it was cracked up to be or what it's made out to be like.
No, I don't. I found it. It wasn't God's work. Let's say it wasn't purpose driven. It wasn't kind of it didn't fill me up with joy and kind of inner happiness. It was kind of like, well, this is a little bit weird. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit like, do you know what I mean? Especially when I come from the football background, which is like you've got to work your absolute arse off for like decades to literally like become a Premiership footballer, and the bar for entry is so high that like to be famous, you've got to be the main man. Do you know what I mean? And then like to get that kind of fame and then be literally on some reality TV show and people are going crazy for you in an airport. I felt it was just a little bit like it wasn't earned. I felt like it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? That's what I really felt. I really felt from being from the football world that it wasn't earned. And I felt like a lot of the people on that program were getting a pumped up, warped perception of themselves when really you ain't really done nothing. Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah. Football definitely humbled me with that world, and I didn't really get caught up in it at all. I know a lot of the ones that was on that program did. You know, I remember them buzzing when they got a blue tick on Twitter, like, oh my God. And I'm like, the blue tick means nothing if you don't make money from it. Do you know what I mean? But they just literally buzzing off a blue tick, and it was like, what? So yeah, crazy time, love.
Yeah, it's a funny concept in it, Fame, because I know I'm all for being quote unquote famous, but for the right reasons. I think there's got to be some kind of, if what's the point in being known by so many people? So many people know who you are, so they know your face, they recognize your face and your name because you've been on a TV show. Okay, but they don't actually know you. They don't know what kind of message you bring to the world. They don't know what's within your heart and your soul, or all this stuff. They don't know anything about you and what you actually do. They just seen you on a screen drinking beers and flirting with women or whatever, and it's like, oh, he's a celebrity and all this stuff. And so I see it as like, well, if you're going to be famous in this world, if you're going to be known for something, let it contribute to society.
There's nothing worse than being famous for something that's not aligned with your highest self. It's like selling your soul. If you're known for being a prat on TV, if you're known for being a reality TV star, it's not, for me personally, it was negative. I think if you're going to be famous, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you are, it needs to be because of you being your authentic highest self, congruent with your truth and aligned with God. That is the only way that you want to become famous, because then you won't deviate from that path, because it is who you are anyway. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got to fake it. You haven't got to pretend. You are literally being yourself, and then thousands of people, millions of people are kind of are loving you for it. That's the only way I could see any positive of being famous. Otherwise, it is literally a trap.
Exactly, because they see it as somebody, oh, he's famous, he must have a great lifestyle. Have you seen most celebrities?
Yeah, mate, they're all anxious as anything, mate. They literally can hardly get their words together. They're all high on some sort of drug or prescription medicine. They don't know who to trust. They're literally in weak-ass relationships. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they're used all the time by people and stuff, and it's like, yeah, they've got a warped perception of who they are, and it ain't all it's cracked up to be, man. Honestly, like, I've got a tattoo on my chest. I've got it in Thailand, and it says in ancient Hebrew, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And that for me is like, I wouldn't have it tattooed on my chest if it wasn't a huge lesson for me and for my philosophy on life. So yeah, be very careful what you put out there in the world and how you want to be remembered, because like, you can have everything and actually have nothing. So yeah, be smart.